Zohran Mamdani's huge win this year has both the left and right buzzing. Here's how both sides feel about his policies, his values, and his future for New York City going forward. I'm Erico, and this is The Bottom Line, and these are the 6 topics we're going over today with Mamdani's point of view, how the left feels, and how the right feels. Number 1, housing. Mamdani has made it his mission to make housing more affordable in New York City. He plans on constructing 200,000 units of permanent housing that will be union built and rent controlled, and also doubling the amount of capital being invested into preserving the homes of existing public housing tenants. And all this together will cost $100 billion, but this is part of Mamdani's huge plan going forward to make housing more affordable. He also seeks to expand programs that serve families in need, such as HPD's Senior Affordable Rental Apartments, which produces affordable housing for all seniors, and extremely low and low income affordability, which produces 100% affordable housing for families who earn less than $72,000 a year for a family of 4. This alongside HRA's Master Lease Program, a program that allows the city to pool its rental assistance programs to create project-based subsidized housing for families at risk of eviction and or living in shelter programs. He has built his campaign on a commitment to public housing, making it more affordable, and also reinvesting into the public sector. But how do the left and right feel about this? First of all, the left is optimistic and invigorated by the fact that Mamdani is campaigning for affordable housing and looking towards policies to make this an actual future. This is a belief built upon the fact that New York City is one of the least affordable cities to live in America. They believe this push for affordable housing will act as a guide and kind of a copying of the playbook for other progressives to also campaign for affordable housing in their local governments. The best way I can describe it in the most unbiased way possible is when in the bubble, Nick Nurse created the wall to help defend against Giannis, and then every other team started taking from that. Now, it is not just all sunshine and rainbows, as some left-leaning pundits do worry about the feasibility of these promises because of the limits on the mayoral power and also battling city bureaucracy. A lot of critics have called Mamdani a communist, but the left battles this saying he is not a communist because rent control and city-owned grocery stores all exist in democracies that do not signal government ownership of all entities. Not entities, ownership of production. My bad. Now, the right side of this, they're not too happy about this. Landlords, billionaires, and elites, they feel as if Mamdani does not have their best interest in mind, and a lot of them are threatening to leave New York City. A lot of landlords worry that they're going to be losing money on the houses that they own. So to summarize, as always with any progressive candidates, the left is happy, there are some doubts, but they're overall optimistic, and the right is extremely upset. But now moving on to public transit. Mamdani has campaigned and he has championed hard for the fact that he wants to make New York City buses fare free. On top of making sure that everyone can ride a bus for free, he also wants to make sure that the buses are fast and reliable as well. He plans to be stricter on blockages to make sure that buses are not getting stopped by cars parked on the streets. He also promises to make sure that there are more bus lanes in the city itself, while also redesigning routes to make sure they serve more high traffic areas of the city. He is specifically targeting the large portion of New Yorkers who are low income who ride the buses to work. He hopes to improve access to jobs, services, and education. Now the Metropolitan MTA. Yo, leave this blooper in. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority, they will lose about $650 million a year because of this new fare-free policy. But he plans to fund the MTA and combat this by raising corporate taxes to 11.5% to match New Jersey's, while also imposing a flat 2% income tax on New Yorkers earning over $1 million a year. This policy is directly building upon the MTA's 5-route fare-free bus pilot launching in 2023 to 2024, which saw MTA ridership increase in city. Now, how did the left feel about this? Well, they're generally very happy because they are very pro-public transit as a means of commuting to work, seeing friends and family, and even traveling, which with Mamdani's commitment to making sure that they are fare-free, everyone can access. Working class New Yorkers are especially excited, and they also hope that car congestion can go down as a result. Now for the right's view. The right is generally more excited by initiatives to make sure that personal mobility is increased. They want to be in privacy away from community members, so most of the time they do opt for rideshare services or personal cars. The right is generally against public spending, as they are also not happy about the higher tax imposes to make sure that this can happen, and they also carry a lot of doubts for congestion pricing. Number 3, Mamdani is also pushing for higher taxes against corporations and high-earning individuals. His plan is built upon raising income from the high earners of New York City. As we stated before, he proposes an extra 2% income tax on city residents earning over $1 million annually, and adding the corporate tax rate increase to about 11.5%, which matches New Jersey's rates. He also wants to reform property tax burdens by shifting more of it onto expensive homes in richer neighborhoods, while reducing the burden on homeowners in outer borough lower income areas. Now, the left, they're very historically supportive of progressive tax brackets. Mamdani's plan, if carried through effectively, it will raise the necessary revenue for other campaign issues he ran on, such as universal childcare and free and fast buses. The left is hoping that these progressive taxes will generate more revenue for the city, while also putting more of a strain on New York's top earners and corporations to contribute to the city. Now, the right is generally opposed to all taxes because they believe in trickle-down economic theory, the idea that if you save corporations money on tax breaks, savings will be passed down to the consumer. They feel as if these taxes on corporations and high earners feels like theft, stealing hard-earned money out of their pockets. They believe these corporations and high earners are what makes New York so prosperous, which is why they are against any type of policy that would discourage them from being there. Number 4, city-run grocery stores. Mamdani wants New York City to open a small network of city-run grocery stores to help lower food costs and make healthy options more accessible. This idea will begin with 5 pilot stores, one in each borough, built on public land so the city doesn't have to pay rent or property taxes. The stores would buy food in bulk and skip the profit margins that private chains rely on, letting them sell groceries at lower prices. Mamdani roughly estimates that he needs $60 million to begin this initiative, but he thinks he can redirect money from the city that is already used to support private grocery stores. His goal is to treat food like a public service, not a business, and make sure that every neighborhood and every person in New York City has access to food. The left, they love this idea. They love the fact that Mamdani is looking towards decommodifying food as they do with housing and other basic needs. As a generally anti-corporatist coalition, the left sees the potential financial savings that city-run grocery stores can provide for working-class New Yorkers while putting a dent into the multi-billion-dollar private grocery store industry. However, there is some doubts because we have seen city-run grocery stores piloted throughout the US. Now, these have come with mixed results, but the best example of publicly run grocery stores succeeding actually comes from the United States military, where discounts of up to 30 to 40% are provided to military families subsidized by the US government. Now, the right and generally libertarian beliefs, they don't really believe in anti-public run anything. Conservatives and libertarians alike, they think that us, the people, we should have the power and that the government should not have their hands on anything. Conservatives fear that monopolizing any industry will lead to price hikes and that city-run grocery stores are the first step to a monopoly of food affairs. Number 5 is minimum wage and debt relief / small business ownership. Mamdani seeks for a much higher New York minimum wage as he proposes it reaches $30 an hour by 2030. Right now, it is $16.50. His plan would raise wages gradually over several years, starting at $20 in 2027 and in rising steps until it hits $30. Mamdani argues that the current minimum wage does not reflect the affordability of the city and that with the rising cost of living, the higher pay would help stabilize a lot of working class families and reduce dependence on public assistance. As for debt relief, Mamdani has focused particularly on city taxi drivers who were hit hard by medallion loan debt. He backed a plan to restructure those loans, lowering what drivers owe and providing city guarantees to prevent foreclosures. He has framed debt relief as a way to address what he sees as systemic financial burdens on workers and small business owners, which he deems unfair. One of Mamdani's signature early campaign moments was his Make Halal $8 Again social media video that garnered millions of views on social media before the mayor-elect was even given a Democratic primary favorite. Mamdani wants to simplify how small businesses operate in New York by cutting down what he calls unnecessary bureaucracy. His plan was streamline permits and licensing through a single online portal, speed up approval times, and reduce fines for minor violations. He argues that New York City's complex rules discourage small and local entrepreneurs and that making this process faster and clearer would help more neighborhood businesses open and stay afloat. The left is supportive of most of these measures with a little bit of resistance that comes with the focus on small businesses. Fringe portions of the left believe that Mamdani should not cozy up to any citizen who attempts to join the bourgeoisie. Ooh, did I say that right? Bourgeoisie. And that the mayor-elect should primarily focus on the needs of workers entirely. And the left is generally supportive of all minimum wage increases, especially ones that are expected to scale upwards based on COLA, cost of living assistance. The right is generally opposed to any minimum wage increase. They fear inflation or stagflation, which they believe will generally hurt the economy of New York City. The same idea goes for any debt relief, as most of the right believe that any debt accrued in life of any citizen are the sole responsibility of that class, not the taxpayer at large. Pretty much, we don't want our tax dollars going to people who have accrued debts because that is on them to figure it out. The right has not been a vocal supporter of Mamdani's plan to slash red tape around business ownership, but that is more likely due to the fear of the mayor-elect actually winning should he receive any support from the right wing of any American voters, which means they would generally be happy about this, but they don't want to support Mamdani in any way, so they're going to act like they don't like it. So yeah, there actually are some things in Mamdani's campaign that the left are not so happy about, and the right, they generally would be happy about if enacted correctly. Number 6, the elephant in the room, Israel. Mamdani has been a consistent, strong advocate for Palestinian rights and a critic of Israel's militarized policies, but he also does believe that Israel doesn't have a right to exist so long as it guarantees equal rights for all its citizens regardless of religion, race, ethnicity, and etc. He backs boycotts as a non-violent way to pressure Israel over what he has labeled as an apartheid and occupation. He has described Israel's military operations in Gaza as genocide and argues that the US tax funds that support Israel implicate American citizens in these actions. Mamdani also is strong on the fact that he would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, the current Israeli prime minister, who has an active ICC arrest warrant should he ever set foot in New York City. Now, the left, they're very divided on this issue as you cannot appease everybody. He lost a fair faction of the American left when he said that Israel has the right to exist, but essentially as a secular state with equal rights. Many on the left actually believe that Israel does not have a right to exist, as it is a settler colonial state that is attempting to ethnically cleanse the population that once lived there just over a century ago peacefully. Despite this, Mamdani is the most prominent democratic figure that has used the word genocide to describe what is currently happening in Gaza. Now, the right finds themselves within three divisions on this issue. Number one is the anti-Semitic right, Nick Fuentes, Sneeko, who sees Mamdani's dislike for Israel as a win against Jewish people themselves, which Mamdani has made clear his stance is not anti-Jewish. Number two, the American First Right, like Majority Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, sees Mamdani's other policies as deeply troubling, but his stance on Israel as sane and rational. And number three, the neoconservative right, they generally believe that Mamdani's stance on Israel is reprehensible and anti-Semitic. But as we know, this issue is very complex with a lot of the figures in current day governments. I'm making this and saying both points from an unbiased point of view because I think everybody should learn information and take it in and digest it for their own understanding without any outer inflections put upon it. Now, what do I believe? I don't fucking know. Just kidding. Of course, I have my own stance on this. I have my own beliefs. I have my own outlook on whatever Mamdani is doing, his policies, his stance. But I do believe that me sharing what I believe would be futile in the mission of bottom line. I just think there should be an easier way for the younger generation to digest and take in whatever is happening in the world right now currently, as opposed to some TikTok echo chamber that either spews radical left or radical right. Yet again, all sources down below. Catch me on TikTok, catch me on Instagram. Comment down below which one to check out next. Comment down below what you think I missed, anything I did wrong as well. Yes, again, this is a three-man team. There's not too many hands on deck, but I want to make sure I'm sharing the best information possible in the most entertaining way. This is the first of its kind. This is going to be a reoccurring thing now. So let me know what I should cover next. Goodbye. Peace.